So today you're going to see three guys that you haven't seen before. We've already talked about sine, cosine, and tangent. Yep, and today we're going to talk about cosecant, secant, and cotangent, okay? So we know that the sine is the y of that point on your unit circle. You understand that? Remember the sine was the second number in the point? And what was the cosine?
Is that SEC?
Yep. The cosine is the x of the point. And the tangent, we did y over x. And we simplified it, and you have those written on your unit circle that you have with you today. Now, let's look at cosecant, secant, and cotangent. First of all, a lot of people think that sine's cousin is secant because they both start with an S. All right? And that cosine's cousin is cosecant because they both start with a C. Well, don't do that because the S goes with the C and the C goes with the S. Do not forget that. I will say that a lot. The S goes with the C and the C goes with the S. Everybody look at your formula sheets, and you should have that the cosecant is 1 over sine, and the secant is 1 over cosine, and the cotangent is 1 over tangent. Do you see that somewhere on your formula sheet? So 1 over sine is the reciprocal of sine. So what do you do with the sine? Turn it upside down. Your unit circle that you have in front of you, it has your sine, your cosine, and your tangent because you did it for homework that time, and I gave you 10 points for it, right?
Yeah, you did.
And if it was wrong, I got with you,
Yes.
right? So you have the sine, the cosine, and the tangent. If they're asking for the cosecant, the secant, or the cotangent, then you just flip those three guys, okay? So let's see what the homework's going to look like. The homework's not that easy, but we'll see.
Is that sarcasm?
Let's do let's just randomly do these.
Number 9.
Let's do tangent of 870.
Right.
Of 870
What number is
degrees. This is number 1.
Wait.
870. Okay, 870 is not on your unit circle. So we're going to keep subtracting 360 from it until we get a number on your unit circle. So 870 minus 360
150.
minus 360 again, you get 150. So this is the same as the tangent of 150. Okay? And what is the tangent of 150 on your unit circle? Got it? Well, cosecant is 1 over sine. So what is the sine of 90? What is the second number in the parentheses at 90? Everybody see that?
Yeah.
Next to the 90 is a 0, 1, so the sine and the cosine. The sine is 1. Well, what is 1 over 1? 1.
Uno.
This isn't the problem we just did, but let's say they told you to find the cotangent of 90. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the cotangent of 90, why am I doing that? The cotangent of 90 is 1 over the tangent of 90, okay? But the tangent of 90 is undefined. But it came from 1 over 0. Remember it was 1 over 0, that's why it was undefined?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when you flip this guy? What do you get? What is the reciprocal of 1 over 0?
0 over 1.
Which is 0. Listen to me carefully. The reciprocal of undefined is 0. The reciprocal of 0 is undefined. Because when you flip a 0, it gets down in the basement, and then that can't be, so it's undefined. You understand that?
Mhm.
So if the answer you get on the main one is 0, then the answer on their cousin is undefined. You have to get this negative 17/3 out of the woods. It's going to take a while to get it out of the woods, okay?
Okay.
How many thirds are in the unit circle? Do you remember that from last week?
18. 12.
Times 2. 6. Very good. There's 6 thirds in the unit circle. So what is 6 over 3? 2. Remember the whole unit circle all the way around once is 2 pi?
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do to that negative 17/3 is we're going to add 2 to it until we get it out of the woods and get a number the first positive number. So keep doing that on your calculator and hit math enter enter. So negative 17/3, when you add 2 to it 3 times, you get 1/3 pi.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Who is cosecant's cousin? Sine. What is the sine of 1/3 pi? Is root 3 over 2, right? So the sine is the second guy, but I want cosecant, which is the flip of sine. So if the sine is root 3 over 2, the cosecant of pi over 3 is 2 over root 3. So what can't I have in the basement? A radical. So I multiply that by root 3 over root 3, and I get 2 root 3 over 3. Number 24, first of all, it's cosecant, so I've got to focus on the sine. But I've got a negative 17/3 pi, which is not on my unit circle, so I have to add 2 to it until I get a positive number that's on my unit circle. Then I find the sine of that positive number because the cosecant is the flip of the sine. And once I find the sine of it, I flip it. Oh my gosh, when I flipped it, I got a radical in the basement. So I've got to get the radical out of the basement, okay? So I multiply it by root 3 over root 3 and let the math take me there. 2 times root 3 is root 3. Root 3 times root 3 is 3. If I'm graphing 17/3 pi in a negative, I'm going around here once, and that's 6/3, right? Because 2 pi is 6/3. I go around twice, and that's 12/3. And I go around a third time, and that would be 18, but I only need to go to 17. So it's 1/3 short of 18/3. How do I test this? If it's in radians and you don't like radians, you can convert 1/3 pi to degrees once you find out it's 1/3 pi. You could also convert negative 17/3 pi into degrees and then add 360 till you get out of the woods. You understand that? But I know that 1/3 pi is the same as 60 degrees. Everybody got that?
Mm-hmm.
And I know the sine of 60 is root 3 over 2. Got it? Well, what is 1 over root 3 over 2? Everybody in your calculator, put that in your calculator and get the ugliest decimal you've ever seen.